Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from ignorance to illumination. Lead us from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Gnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Amrita Duhe Namaha. Sarvopanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopalanandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. In our last class, we discussed certain important points. We are studying the second chapter. Arjuna, he surrendered to Sri Krishna and said, I am in confusion. I am surrendering myself to you. I become your disciple. You become my teacher, my guide. Tell me clearly what I should do, what I should not do. Command me, I will do that. To him, Sri Krishna opened in one verse. He gives the entire spiritual essence. There are two types of people, wise and foolish. How do we know he is a wise person? A person who is always happy is a wise person. He never grieves. And the unwise person always grieves. For some reason or other, he grieves. And the entire spiritual essence is there. Those who reach God, they will always be happy. Why? The nature of God is Sat Chit Ananda. They have nothing to worry because Sat means eternal life. Chit means all knowledge. All knowledge means what? There is only one thing whose knowledge we need to have, and the knowledge of many is called Maya. The knowledge of the one is called Gnanam. The knowledge of the many is called Ajnana. Now last class we discussed the special 2 points we made. One is Karya Karana Sambandha, cause and effect. Simple example is, if there is clay and 100 objects are made out of that clay, you don't need to know everything about 100 objects. If you know about the clay, you will know all the objects. What is this analogy for? If there is only one cause and the whole universe, what we call, billions and billions of things, the stars, the galaxies, the human beings, living, non-living, if they are all but manifestations of that one thing, by knowing that one thing, we know everything. Now, that was what we discussed. How do we get over grief? By knowing the one thing. Here, what is the meaning of knowing? What is the meaning of knowing? Suppose I want to know about this table. So the first point is, why do I want to know? There must be a reason why I want to know about the table. Is an example, about anything. Why do I want to know? Because I think that by having this knowledge, I will be a happier person. In some way, it helps me either to live longer or to be more happy. Is it not? The end of every type of knowledge is only to know that how I can escape death, how I can escape ignorance, and how I can escape unhappiness. The end of every knowledge, whatever it is only this. Funny example comes, suppose a person says, I want to get married. To know, he or she has to know that I have to choose a person who is a suitable person for me, and if everything happens, then he or she might be a little bit happy. Is it not? But when that person is in deep sleep, is the person happy or happier? Happier, not neither. He goes beyond both happiness and unhappiness. That is why we all seek so much of happiness. Whichever experience gives us happiness, we tend to have it again and again and again. That is the fact. You like some sweet because it makes you happy, then you want to have more sweet. The purpose is not sweet. The purpose is to become happier person. What does a knowledge do? Either it helps us to become safe or helps us to avoid unhappiness or danger, isn't it? How many objects, how many types of knowledges you can really manage in one life, or even in 100 lives, or even a billion lives? Because the objects are too many. But if you have one knowledge, what is that one knowledge? I am that divine. Here the Vedas distinguish what is the real meaning of Veda. The very word, name for our scriptures is called Vedas. Veda means knowledge. Here Veda means to know, not intellectual knowledge, to know that I am that. Or our language, I have that. This knowledge, I have that, always leads to sometimes happiness and sometimes to unhappiness. But the knowledge, I am that, never leads to either happiness or unhappiness. It only leads to something called bliss. Last class we discussed the difference between happiness and bliss. Very important. This is what Bhagavan Krishna is telling, that the Pandits, the wise people, they never become unhappy. Why? Because in their vision, there is neither called living nor called dead. Everything is birthless and deathless. Do you see the difference? Birthless and deathless. Our experience is something is there and something is not there. Before you came into this place, perhaps you did not know there was a table. And when you go away, this disappears. But a person who knows I am that causeless cause, Mula Karana, then what happens? I am never away from that. Therefore, all the time I am of the nature of knowledge. This is the first effect. The second effect is, what can I possibly desire when I know that I am everything? Here is a law. No one desires himself or herself. Have you noticed it? Everybody desires something other than oneself. Do you ever say, I desire myself? You never say that. Why? Because you know there is never a time when you are not yourself. But I know so many doubters are there. But I would like to become more beautiful. That means here what are you identifying yourself with? Something which is not you. That fine distinction between what is really me and what I think I am, that is what is called ajnana. A person who has this knowledge of distinction, he is called a wise person. That is why Bhagavan Krishna says, Panditas do not grieve either for the living or for the dead, because birth and death, and in between so many things which we will see very soon, they all belong to something which is not your nature. If it is not your nature, you are never going to get them. However much you hug to this table any amount of time, either you fall or the table falls. Separation will come, because when two things are separate, they ever remain separate. Can they ever become one? All these points need deep thinking. I'll give an example. Here is a glass of coffee, and there is coffee powder, there is water, and there is milk. Sugar, coffee powder, water, and milk. This is what we call coffee, is it not? How many things are there? 4. But if you ask any child, how many things are there? He will say only, there is only one. It's called coffee. But these 4 things, you don't see 4 things. You see only one thing. But did the 4 things ever become one are all these four things which make up to go to the coffee are separate all the time. They appear to be one, but they are separate. Never they have become one. It's like this, you put sugar in water, then how many things do you see? Or sugar or salt? You will only see water. But is the sugar or salt had become one with water any time? Stir it properly. It has become completely. Did it become one? It appears, not appearance and becoming are two totally separate things. How do we know? Because if they have become one, you can never separate them. But if they are separate, you can separate by means you boil the water, then the water becomes distilled water and the salt remains. That's what the Bhagavan's, what is called salt maker, is all the time making on the sea coast. Who is making salt? Bhagavan is making. And the sun also is acting what? Rainmaker. He is the water carrier. He carries the water and he separates for your sake. He loves you so much, he separates the salt from the water. Pure water he takes, because that water, clouds, salty cloud water, he takes it somewhere and then he pours it, and then again he fulfills all the creatures' needs, and again they come back. The cycle, the effect must come back to the cause all the time. What is the point we are making? Last commandment of Sri Ramakrishna, M asks a question, how do we live in this world? What was Sri Ramakrishna's reply? Live like a maid servant. What is the description there? The maid servant, for all practical purposes, tells to every visitor, this is our house, this is our son, this is our property. But she knows in her heart of hearts that nothing belongs to her. As soon as it is evening, she has to leave the house and go back to her own house. Manochalo Nija Niketane. This is what is called Karma Yoga. You do everything appropriately, rightly. That is what the whole Bhagavad Gita tells. You fight, knowing fully well that you are not the doer, nor you are the enjoyer. Karta, Bhokta, you are not that. This separation, that there is something very temporary, and everything is temporary, including Brahmaloka. And there is something which is absolutely unchanging, Nitya, eternal. That knowledge of the eternal, that is what is called real Panditya. Therefore, what you call the Bhishma, the Drona, like pots. That means what? They are nothing but clay. Here in this analogy, what that means? Your Duryodhana, your Bhishma, they are all Brahman in different forms. Very interesting question, Duryodhana is sleeping and Arjuna is also sleeping, side by side, in deep sleep. Both are in deep sleep. What do you think they will be doing to each other in deep sleep? Because they are not even aware that they are two separate entities. So the same analogy is given for a person of Samadhi. He has the same knowledge. We are not two separate entities, but with full awareness. He knows as Atman, as body we are different, as minds we are different, but as Atman we are one and the same. That's what we discussed in our last class. Not that I was not there, not that you were not there, not that all these people were not there, not that I will not be there, not that you will not be there. Means what? 200 years back I was not there. Then about 50 to 70 years back I was born, and I will not be there after few years. No, it is not correct. For body it is correct. For the Atman it is not correct. So that is the knowledge he wants to give us. Don't ask me, but it is so simple, why can't I understand it? Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadhipa nachaiva nabhavishyama sarve vayam athapara. There never was a time when I was not there, nor when you were not there, nor any of these kings were not there, nor will there be a time when we cease to be. In essence, what does that mean? We will always be there forever. So he is not telling only you Arjuna and I Krishna and Bhishma Drona, we will be there. What about Duryodhana? What about Osama bin Laden? He will be there. Everything will be there, because as manifestations, nama rupa, there is a time when they were not manifest, when there will be a time when they will not remain manifest. But as Atman, as one substance, they will always be there. That is called the teaching about Atman. The word given for that which is one, that which is eternal, that which is non-changing, that which is never born, therefore nor undergoes any change, nor undergoes any death, and that which has no differentiation, and that which never does anything, never experiences, enjoys anything. The name for that one is called what? Atman. The word, Sanskrit word, Atman. Now, Atman means the self. What is the simplest definition of Atman? I am giving by this side. Krishna didn't give directly, he gives indirectly. So here is the hint. You go on saying that this is not me, the table. Are you the table? No. Are you then ultimately you come first, you say anything outside my body, I am not that. But with regard to body, what do we say? I am. But which you are, really you are. Because you are a baby, you are a young person, middle-aged person, old person, etc. Changes are occurring all the time. So which one are you referring to? We also discussed very important point. Always there are two I, sense of two eyes all the time. We identify ourselves with both. One is, I am always, I was a baby, I was a middle-aged person, I am an old person. We are, with every changing aspect of the body and mind, we are identified. But there is also another one, I was, I am, I will be. That I which is witnessing the changes that are occurring, that I is never changing. Do you see the point? To know that something is changing, there must be something always changeless observer, and that observer cannot change. These two eyes are there. Now what is called Maya, though both are there, when the emphasis is on the changing eye, that is called Maya. When we shift that changing eye to the unchanging eye, that is called Vidya Maya, or spiritual progress. Now this we do in a different way. You know how we do it? I cannot imagine myself as that Atman, but I can imagine God as the Atman. Can you say that God is changeable? Can you say that God is somewhere and not everywhere? God is everywhere. And can you impute to God birth and death? If God also is being born like me and you, that God is totally useless for me. So he must be unborn. That means he will never have death or any change will come. And that God should be everywhere. And that which, this is an important point, that which is everywhere, if there is something which is everywhere, then can something else be there in its place? Can the table be there? So when you say, can you say that God is everywhere excepting where the table is? Can you say that? Then you have to understand it is God only who is appearing at this place at this time in the form of a table, a human being. It's the whole universe. That's why in the Vishnu Sahasranama, the very first epithet of God is Vishwam. The whole universe is nothing but God. Afterwards Vishnu. So like mistaking a rope for a snake. The rope never becomes a snake. The mistake is in us, not in the object. So this whole universe is nothing but God, Brahman. That is the Vedanta philosophy. This is what Bhagavan Krishna is trying to say, that we will always be there. We. Now that we is a plural number. When you come to Vedanta philosophy, you have to forget about we. We means what? Many.
More than one.
More than one. And more than one means what? That means separate. So we have to say that everything is, there is only one. How? For that an analogy is given. I will give two analogies. One is on the ocean, you will see so many waves. Now are the waves separate from the water or are the same? Are bubbles? They all appear, small bubble, big bubble, small wave, tsunami wave, and all those things. But these are all only appearances. Water in a particular form is called a bubble. What is the difference between a bubble and a wave? Bubble is bacha and wave is grown up, and tsunami is terrible. Yeah, but it's nothing but water. So the whole universe, nama and rupa, name and form, is nothing but God. It is a difficult thing, but that's what we have to inject into our brains and say everything is God, everything is Narayana. The Bhaja Govindam Stotram, there is one. He who is your enemy, he is also Vishnu. He who is your friend, he is also Vishnu. And he who smiles at you is also Vishnu. He who frowns at you is also Vishnu. See, Vishnu is frowning at Vishnu. Vishnu is making fun of Vishnu. Vishnu is bestowing his grace on Vishnu. If everything is Vishnu, then who is bestowing upon who is the other Vishnu? There is nobody else. That is Vedanta philosophy, but it is the goal we have to reach. For that, sadhana has to be done. That's what is indicated. There is nothing called destruction. There is nothing called death. It is all an illusion. It's because of our limitedness. It is that. Another example that I will give, everything is one. Supposing you have a dream. You go to bed, you have a dream. In the dream, you see a huge cricket match. Thousands and thousands of people. There are players, there are audience, there are photographers, there are videographers, and there are judges. Everybody is there. How many are there? Many, many, many. You wake up. How many are there? Okay? You yourself, in your ignorance, that is called dream, appeared to yourself as so many things. You yourself divided yourself as if, because if you had been divided into so many parts, you will not wake up. Others will see you, tukada tukada ho gaya. Do you get the point? When you wake up, you say, oh, I had this dream. In the dream, did somebody come and then appear to you? Your own one mind has become divided into yourself and everything else. Others only means living, non-living, everything else. This is an example we give to understand. It is God who is dreaming. That is called the world. That's called Leela.
Why is God dreaming?
Really speaking, it is an illogical question. Therefore, the answer is also illogical. If you want to know, you go when you meet God. Yeah, I remember there was a bishop and a scientist. I think T.H. Huxley or somebody like that. They're always, fighting with each other. But friends, close friends. So one day they were having a conversation. And this scientist, of course, naturally didn't believe in heaven and hell. So the story of Joan being swallowed by a whale came up. The scientist was telling to the bishop, I don't believe in this story. The bishop said, we don't know, but when I go to heaven, I will ask Joan whether she was really swallowed by a whale or not. But the scientist said, suppose you don't find her in heaven. He said, don't worry, you go and find out. When you go to hell, you find out. Then you can ask her directly. This is called Leela. What is Leela? Every day what we dream is a Leela. So you can question why this kind of events are happening in dream, but when you wake up, you don't question. That is called dream. 2 points is, one, appearance is there and lot of questions are there. When you wake up, there is no appearance. It is all an appearance, but there is no reality. And the second is, there is no multiplication at all. There is no multipleness. There is only one. So you don't question yourself why I have slapped myself in my dream like that. You see the point? You don't ask that way. You ask why X had slapped me in the dream. But X slapped me in the dream. Upon waking up, what does it translate into? Why I slapped myself in my dream is, why did I imagine myself like that? Is it not? That is called Leela. Why is it called Leela? Appears to be multiple and real, but upon knowledge it is completely an enjoyable sport, like circus. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra muhyati. The dhira means a wise person is not deluded by death, which is only a change from one body to another. For he knows that it is only a passing from one stage of life to another, from childhood to youth and to old age. So the answer, Arjuna says that this death, he is not talking about one particular thing. What was that? I am going to kill Bhishma and Drona, they are going to die. But did Arjuna ever question, O Bhishma, who caused you from changing from a babyhood to youth? Was I responsible for your, I made you from a baby into a young person. I made you from a young person into a middle person. I made you from a middle-aged person to old-aged person. When you are not questioning those things, how can you question only about one change? The point is, death can come either by natural death or accidental death or somebody kills. That's not the point. The point is, the discussion is about death, not the cause of death. There is a lot of discussion about it. If you think deeply, suppose you are a soldier and your commander commands you to go and kill, drop a bomb on a Japanese city where there are 100,000 people, 50,000 people. You know, this is the facts I am quoting. Do you have to feel that I am doing it? Do you have anything against them? First point is, these are inevitable. This is called history. If you are a surgeon, if necessary to cut off a limb for the betterment of the whole body, will you do it or not? Wait, it's not different. So similarly, if there is a party who has declared war against you, what is called unrighteously, for the good of for your own country, for the good of the whole world, you will have to do it. If you did not want to obey your superiors to go and kill, nobody has forced you. You have voluntarily joined there, and when you join there, what was your pledge you take? If you don't do it, then either you get out of that situation or you will have to obey. There is no second choice. Everybody is not a soldier, but specifically as a warrior, as a protector of people, you have to do, even if you need to kill, in spite of whatever you feel inside you. That's where Krishna comes is, if you didn't want, who the hell asked you to come at all to the battlefield? You decided to come. You only enthused and you only inspired other people to come. We have to go and fight. In fact, Yudhishthira didn't want to fight. It was these people who went and did it. And having led them here, giving them hope that we will fight against the adharma, and now you are turning against and just putting your head in between your legs and then trying to run away. That is not dharma. So he says, just as no one is responsible for all the changes that are taking place every moment of our life, why do we assume responsibility only for one change, which is called death? But leave aside Arjuna and Bhishma. To come to our point here, do we care, do we really think or feel bad when a baby becomes a young person? Does the person regret and say, why did I have to become a young person? We are accepting so many changes. I am a middle-aged person, I accept. I am an old person, I am accepting it. But only one change we are not accepting. What is it? Death. That's why Krishna says, he gives clearly two answers. One answer is, if you are concerned, you must be concerned with all the changes. The second point he gives is, really speaking, that before your birth, were you there or not? Before the birth of the body, were you there or not? Not that you were not there, but you should not understand it. Arjuna was born 50 billion years ago, and he is still having, what is he talking about? So, as a soul, you are there. As a soul, you are there. As a soul, you will be there. Bodies, they come and go. You should not bother too much about it. That's what he's telling. But the question comes, why should I not bother? Because I feel I am going to die. When I am alive, however bad it is, I just know that I am alive. That's where spiritual life comes into play. And it says, if you know the truth, what is the truth? 2 points. 1 point, I am the Atman. At this moment, I am the Atman, I am not the body. When we progress, what I call the body is nothing but the Atman itself in a change with Nama and Rupa. This table, before it became a table, it was wood. But when it took a name and form, you call it table. And after some time, when the tableness goes, then what does it remain? It is wood at that time, now, in future. That never is going to change. But for us to think we are the Atman, we have to do sadhana in order to really understand I am deathless. But all the time we are experiencing I am deathless, in the form of I was a baby, I was a young person. It is there already. Only thing is I am not identifying myself with that. That comes only through spiritual practice. Then he says, I am happy, I am unhappy. Matra sparshast kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama apayino anityaha tam titikshasva bharata. Very briefly we discuss. It is the union or proximity of the senses and sense objects which brings about the experience of heat and cold, joy and sorrow. These feelings are not permanent and they have a beginning and an end. Man should bear with them. It's a beautiful verse which says, it's very important because, so when we say it is hot, what is it that feels hot? Or how do we know it is hot? Through one particular sense organ. Which is sense organ? Skin. Touch. When it says it is cold also, it is touch. Like that, somebody praises me, somebody insults me. But these things come and go because heat and cold and all these things, they go on changing. But sukha dukkha, he also says sukha and dukkha come and go. What is the difference between heat and cold come and go, but sukha and dukkha are permanent. Either you experience sukha, whatever be your experience, whether it is bitter gourd, whether it is rasgulla, there is some good job, some you lost your job, you get sleep, you don't get sleep, you are married, you are not married, all these things are incidental. But what is permanent is this sukha and dukkha. Ultimately, every contact of the sense with the sense object, they are all differing. But what is the conclusion of it? Happiness and unhappiness. They are not changing. They will always be there. So long as there is a body, there is a mind, there will be happiness and there will be unhappiness. When the eyes see, say, a beautiful form, then it's happy. When it sees not so beautiful form, it is unhappy. Similarly, you multiply these examples for every sense organ. And all these things are different. Form is different, smell is different, and then sound is different, and touch is different. Everything, every sense organ brings its own special particular type of experience. But the result of all these experiences fall only under 2 categories. What is it? Happiness and unhappiness. And they are also changing ultimately, because the same thing sometimes gives you happiness. The same thing other times gives you unhappiness. Therefore, whether you are born or whether you are dead, they are also no different from this experience. But there is one behind who is experiencing, I was born and I am going to die. That I never changes. Therefore, what is the point here? Important point. This happiness and unhappiness are unavoidable. Whether you are a saint, you are a sage, whether a good person, evil person, this happiness and unhappiness are common to everybody in this world. Every creature in this world. Therefore, what is the advice? Tan titikshasva. You bear with them. Because if you don't bear with them, if you are not patient, you will become a patient. Bear with them. This Arjuna saying, I am not happy killing Bhishma and Drona. I am happy, and if I don't kill this, all these are also like any other happiness and unhappiness, no different at all. What is so wonderful is, when we make so much of difference. Arjuna is making such a huge hullabulla. He had so much of happiness, unhappiness through so many ways. And why are you distinguishing this one particularly? Because the effect is the same. But the question comes, I am going to kill them. As Krishna says that they are going to die. Already 1 foot in the grave. And I gave 3 reasons. They are all dharmic people, virtuous people. If you kill them, where are they going to go? Heaven. If you don't kill, they are going to go to heaven, but later on. But if you kill them, they are going to go to heaven right now. Which is a better act? Send them to heaven right now or later on. This is the first reason he gives. Second reason is, if you think they are bodies, then inevitably they will die, whether you kill or not. But you don't kill. Who kills? Time kills. And with the time, God himself in the form of time kills. Killing means what? Bringing into manifestation and bringing into unmanifestation. That is all. There is no real death. This is the second viewpoint. Third viewpoint is, if we are Atman, then who is a friend? Who is an enemy? Who is Bhishma? Who is young? Who is old? Who is a elderly person? Who is a younger person? Who is a teacher? Who is a disciple? There is absolutely no distinction. Where do you get this kind of philosophy? In which religion? Whether you read Bible, whether you read all these things, Tripitaka or Quran, you see, such crystal clear ideas you will not get. Even if you read Puranas, you will get the same ideas repeated over and again in the form of, not directly like this, but in the form of stories and other things. That's why it is such a wonderful thing. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.